The sun barely showed over the hills. Cold air filled the stone manor. Elena stood by her window, watching the world wake up. She was different from other ladies. She rode horses fast. She laughed too loud. She spoke her mind when others stayed quiet. Her family hated this about her. Elena. Her mother's sharp voice cut through the morning silence. "Come here, now." Elena sighed. She knew that tone. It meant trouble. She walked downstairs. Her boots clicked on the cold stones. Her mother stood in the hall. Her father sat in his chair. Her sister Mary smirked from the corner. "We have news," her mother said. Her voice was ice cold. "You are getting married." Elena's heart stopped. "What?" "Count Adrian needs a wife." Her father spoke without looking up. "We agreed to the match." Mary laughed. "Good luck with that one, sister." Elena felt trapped, like a bird in a cage. "Who is Count Adrian?" Her mother's smile was cruel. "A man no woman wants. He has said no to every bride for 15 years. He is strange, cold. Some say he is cursed." The words hit Elena like stones. This was her punishment, for being bold, for being herself, for not being the perfect lady they wanted. "You leave tomorrow," her father said. "Pack your things." Elena stood still. Her hands shook, but inside something fierce grew. "No man will ever want you anyway," her sister whispered. "At least this way you are someone else's problem." The cruel words burned, but Elena lifted her chin. She would not break. She would not cry in front of them. "Fine," she said. Her voice was steady, strong. "Send me away, but I will not be broken." That night, Elena packed her few things. She looked in the mirror. Her face was plain. Her hair was simple. But her eyes burned with fire. "Let them send me," she whispered to herself. "I am stronger than they know." The next morning, a black carriage waited outside. Elena climbed in. She did not look back at her family. She did not say goodbye. As the carriage rolled away, Elena felt afraid. But also, for the first time in her life, she was leaving, going somewhere new. Maybe this Count Adrian would be cruel. Maybe he would hate her too. But maybe, just maybe, things could be different. The wheels turned on the rough road. Each mile took her further from her old life, closer to whatever waited ahead. Elena pressed her hand to the cold window. "I will not break," she said again, and this time she almost believed it. Count Adrian stood on his castle wall. The morning mist covered his lands. He watched his people work in the fields below. He was not like other lords. He did not care for fancy clothes or court games. He cared for his land, for his people, for duty. But the people whispered about him. They called him the Cold Count. Some said he was cursed. Others said his heart was made of stone. They were wrong, and they were right. 15 years ago, Adrian had loved a woman, Lady Catherine. She was beautiful, perfect, everything a count should want. He had given her his whole heart, made plans for their future, dreamed of children and happiness. Then, one day, she left. No goodbye, no explanation. Just a letter saying she found someone richer, someone better. The pain nearly killed him. Adrian locked his heart away. He swore never to love again, never to trust again. Every family tried to match their daughters with him. Rich fathers came with offers. Beautiful women smiled and flattered him. Adrian said no to them all. "I will never marry," he told his advisor Thomas. "Love is a lie. Marriage is a trap." But Thomas was wise. He knew Adrian's heart was not truly dead, just sleeping. "My lord," Thomas said one day, "there is a new offer from the Whitmore family." Adrian barely looked up from his papers. "No, as always. But sir, this girl is different. They say she is unwanted, plain, too bold for proper society." Something in those words made Adrian pause. Unwanted. He knew that pain. They are trying to get rid of her, Thomas continued. She has no other options. Adrian remembered his own shame, the whispers when Catherine left, the looks of pity, the feeling of being thrown away. His chest tightened. What is her name? Elena Whitmore. Adrian was quiet for a long time. Outside, birds sang in the trees. Life went on. But inside, something stirred. She has nowhere else to go, he asked. No, my lord. Her family sees her as a burden. Adrian closed his eyes. He thought of that young woman, alone, rejected, feeling worthless. He had the power to say no, to leave her trapped with cruel family, to let her suffer as he once suffered. But that was not who he was, not who he wanted to be. Send word, Adrian said quietly. I will meet with her. Thomas blinked in shock. My lord, you will. Yes, Adrian stood. He looked out at his lands again. If she has no one, then perhaps we can help each other. That night, Adrian walked his empty halls. Portraits of his ancestors watched from the walls. Men who had loved, who had built families, who had been happy. For 15 years, these halls had been silent. No laughter, no warmth, just duty and loneliness. Maybe it was time for that to change. Not for love, he would never love again, but for companionship, for understanding, for two broken people finding peace together. Elena Whitmore, he said her name aloud. It sounded nice. Tomorrow, she would arrive, his bride-to-be, the woman no one wanted. Adrian smiled slightly. Perhaps they would understand each other after all. The carriage stopped with a jolt. Elena's heart pounded as she looked out the window. The castle was huge. Dark stone walls reached toward grey clouds. Tall windows stared down like cold eyes. We are here, miss, the driver said. His voice was not unkind. Elena stepped down. Her legs shook. The wind whipped her simple dress around her ankles. The main door opened. An older man stepped out. He had kind eyes and grey hair. Lady Elena, he asked. I am Thomas, the Count's advisor. Welcome. Elena nodded. She could not speak. Fear filled her throat. Thomas led her inside. The halls were vast. Her footsteps echoed on stone floors. Tapestries hung on the walls. Everything was clean, but cold. The Count will see you shortly, Thomas said. Please sit by the fire. Warm yourself. Elena sat in a large chair. The fire crackled beside her. She stared at the flames. Her hands would not stop shaking. What if he was cruel? What if he laughed at her plain face? What if he sent her away? Then, footsteps in the hall. Elena stood quickly, too quickly. She nearly fell. The door opened, and Count Adrian walked in. Elena's breath caught. He was not what she expected. He was tall, strong. Dark hair touched his shoulders. His face was serious, but not mean. His eyes were deep brown, sad, but not cold. He was handsome, very handsome. Elena felt even plainer beside him. She wanted to hide. Adrian stopped a few feet away. He looked at her for a long moment. Elena waited for the cruel words, the disappointment, the rejection. Instead, he bowed. Simple, respectful. Lady Elena. His voice was deep, quiet. Thank you for coming. Elena blinked. She had expected harshness. Instead, he sounded polite, almost gentle. My lord, she whispered. She tried to curtsy, nearly fell again. Adrian stepped forward. Are you hurt? The journey was long. More kindness. Elena's eyes filled with confused tears. I am well, my lord. Please, sit. He gestured to the chair. Are you warm enough? Do you need food? Water? Elena sat slowly. She stared at him. You are asking about my comfort. Adrian's eyebrows rose slightly. Of course, you are my guest. Guest. Not burden, not punishment. Guest. I expected. That is, my family said. What did they say? Elena looked down. That you would not want me, that no one would. The room fell silent, only the fire crackled. When Elena looked up, Adrian's face had changed. The sadness in his eyes was deeper now, but also something like understanding. Your family was wrong, he said quietly. You are welcome here. Tears spilled down Elena's cheeks. She had not cried when her family was cruel, but this unexpected kindness broke her. I am sorry, she whispered. I know I am not. I know you wanted someone better. Adrian was quiet for a long moment. Then he sat in the chair across from her, close enough to speak softly, far enough to give her space. Elena, he said her name gently. I did not want anyone, but if I must have a wife, I would rather have one who understands pain. Elena looked at him through her tears. You understand pain? Yes. His voice was barely a whisper. I understand it very well. Something passed between them, a recognition, two wounded souls, seeing each other clearly. Will you stay for dinner? Adrian asked. We can talk more, get to know each other. Elena wiped her tears. For the first time in years, she felt a tiny spark of hope. Yes, she said, I would like that. Adrian almost smiled. Almost. Good. Thomas will show you to your room. Rest. We will talk tonight. As Elena followed Thomas upstairs, she felt different, still afraid, still uncertain, but not alone. Maybe Count Adrian was strange. Maybe he was cold. But he had been kind. He had asked about her comfort. He had not laughed at her tears. For the first time, Elena thought maybe this could work. Elena woke to sunlight streaming through tall windows. For a moment she forgot where she was. Then memory returned. The castle, Count Adrian, her new life. She dressed in her simple gown, brushed her plain brown hair. In the mirror she looked the same, but something felt different. A soft knock at her door. Lady Elena? Thomas's voice was kind. Breakfast is ready. Elena found the dining room. It was huge. The table could seat 20 people, but only one place was set. Where is Count Adrian? She asked. He eats early. My lady, he is already working with the farmers. Elena ate alone. The food was good, better than home, but the silence felt heavy. After breakfast, Thomas showed her the castle, room after room of stone and tapestries, a library with hundreds of books, a music room with a beautiful piano. You may go anywhere you like, Thomas said. This is your home now. Home. Elena had never felt at home anywhere. Even outside, she asked. Thomas smiled. Of course. The Count said you enjoy fresh air. Elena's heart lifted. At her family's house, she was not allowed to walk alone. Too improper, too bold. She spent the morning exploring the gardens. They were beautiful, but lonely, like everything here. In the afternoon, she walked toward the village. She saw Count Adrian speaking with farmers. His voice was calm, patient. The men respected him. He saw her watching, nodded politely, but did not come over. Elena felt invisible again. That evening, she ate dinner alone again. The silence pressed down on her. The next day was the same, and the next. Elena began to think Adrian regretted his choice. He was polite when they passed in the halls, but distant, cold. On the fourth day, Elena could not stand it anymore. She found Thomas in the library. Does Count Adrian hate me? She asked. Thomas looked surprised. Hate you? No, my lady. Why would you think that? He avoids me. We barely speak. Thomas's face softened. The Count is not used to company. He has lived alone for many years. Then why did he agree to marry me? Perhaps you should ask him yourself. That evening, Elena did something bold. Instead of eating alone, she went to Adrian's study. She knocked softly. Count Adrian, may I speak with you? The door opened. Adrian stood there, papers in his hand. He looked surprised. "Elena, is something wrong?" Elena's courage almost failed, but she pushed on. "I wonder if I could eat dinner with you tonight." Adrian blinked. "You want to eat with me?" "Yes, if thee to—" For a moment, Adrian just stared at her. Then something in his face shifted. "Of course," he said. "I would like that." Dinner was quiet at first, but slowly they began to talk about the weather, the castle, the village. "The farmers seem to respect you," Elena said. "I try to be fair, to listen to their needs. That is good. My father never listened to anyone." Adrian looked at her. "Your family was not kind to you." "It was not a question," Elena nodded. "They thought I was wrong, too loud, too bold." "And what do you think?" Elena paused. No one had ever asked her that. "I think I am who I am. I cannot be someone else." Adrian was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "I would not want you to be someone else." Elena's heart skipped. You would not?" "No, the world has enough quiet, proper ladies. Perhaps it needs more bold ones." For the first time since arriving, Elena smiled, really smiled. And for just a second, Adrian smiled back. Days turned into weeks. Elena settled into castle life, but she could not just sit idle. She noticed things. The cook's daughter was sick with fever. The young maids could not read. The village children had no school. Elena had always been good at helping others. At home, her family called it meddling. Here, maybe it could be useful. She started small. She made soup for the sick child, sat by her bed, read her stories. "You have a gentle touch," the cook said, tears in her eyes. "My Anna is better already." Elena's heart warmed. "I am glad to help." Next, she offered to teach the maids to read. They were nervous at first. A lady teaching servants. It was not proper. But Elena did not care about proper. "Reading opens doors," she told them. "Every woman deserves that chance." Soon, 5 young women gathered in the library each evening. Elena taught them letters, words, simple sentences. Their joy, when they read their first full page, it filled Elena with purpose. Count Adrian noticed. He said nothing, but she saw him watching from the doorway, sometimes. One morning, Elena walked to the village. An old woman sat crying outside her cottage. "What is wrong?" Elena asked. "My grandson. He cut his hand badly. I do not know how to help him." Elena had watched her grandmother tend wounds. She knew about herbs, about cleaning cuts, about stopping bleeding. "May I look?" she asked. The woman nodded desperately. Elena cleaned the wound, applied healing herbs, wrapped it carefully. The boy's pain eased. "You saved his hand," the grandmother whispered. "Thank you." Word spread quickly. Lady Elena had healing skills. Soon people came to her with small hurts, headaches, cuts, stomach pains. Elena helped them all. She felt useful, needed, important. For the first time in her life, people looked at her with respect instead of pity. One evening, Count Adrian found her in the library. She was teaching Mary, one of the maids, to write her name. "Look, my lady," Mary said excitedly. "I wrote it myself." Elena beamed. "You did perfectly." After Mary left, Adrian sat down across from Elena. "You have been busy," he said. Elena tensed. "If you disapprove—" "I do not disapprove." His voice was quiet. "I am impressed." Elena looked up in surprise. "You are? The people speak of you with great fondness. You have brought light to this place." Elena's cheeks warmed. I want to help, to be useful." "You are much more than useful, Elena. You are remarkable." The word hit Elena like sunshine after rain. Remarkable. Her family had called her many things, but never remarkable. I always felt wrong, she whispered, like I did not fit anywhere. Adrian leaned forward. Perhaps you were not wrong. Perhaps the places you lived before were too small for who you are. Elena's eyes filled with tears, good tears, happy tears. Thank you, she whispered. Adrian reached across the table. For a moment, his fingers touched hers, warm, gentle. Then he pulled back, but the kindness remained in his eyes. Thank you, Elena, for bringing life to these walls again. That night, Elena lay in bed smiling. She was not just surviving here, she was thriving. She was becoming who she was meant to be. Weeks passed in gentle routine. Elena taught her reading classes, helped with healing, brought laughter to the castle halls. Adrian watched her bloom. This quiet, sad woman was becoming someone bright, someone strong, someone beautiful. Not beautiful like Lady Catherine had been. Beautiful in a deeper way, in her kindness, her courage, her genuine heart. One evening, storm clouds gathered outside, rain beat against the windows. Elena sat by the fire, reading. Adrian found her there. May I join you? Of course. Elena moved over on the small sofa. They sat in comfortable silence. The fire crackled, rain drummed on glass. The castle felt cozy instead of cold. What are you reading? Adrian asked. Elena showed him the cover. Poetry. I love how words can paint pictures. Read me something? Elena's cheeks flushed. You want to hear my voice? Very much. Elena opened to a favorite page. Her voice was soft but clear as she read about love and loss and hope. Adrian closed his eyes. Her voice was like music, like warmth on a cold night. When she finished, they sat quietly. Beautiful, Adrian said. The poem? Yes, and the reader. Elena's breath caught. Adrian. It was the first time she had used his name without his title. It felt intimate. Elena, he said softly, may I ask you something? Anything. Do you ever feel lonely, even when people are around? Elena looked at him. His face was open, vulnerable. Yes, all my life. I have felt that way since, he paused, since someone I trusted broke my heart. Elena's chest tightened. What happened? Adrian stared into the fire. Her name was Catherine. I loved her completely, planned to marry her, give her everything. She left? For someone richer, someone with a better title. She said I was not enough. Elena's heart broke for him. She was wrong. Adrian looked at her. Was she? Yes. Elena's voice was fierce. You are kind, honorable. You care for your people. You gave me a home when no one else would. You are wonderful. Adrian's eyes filled with surprise. You think I am wonderful? I think you are the best man I have ever known. Something shifted between them. The air grew warm, electric. Adrian reached up, touched Elena's cheek gently. And I think you are extraordinary. Elena leaned into his touch. I never felt extraordinary before. Then you were surrounded by blind people. Elena laughed softly. Adrian smiled. A real smile. The first she had seen. I like your laugh, he said. I like your smile. They moved closer. Elena's heart raced. Adrian's hand stayed on her cheek. Elena, he whispered, I think I am falling in love with you. Elena's eyes filled with tears, happy tears. I think I am falling in love with you too. Adrian leaned down, kissed her forehead. Soft, sweet, perfect. I never thought I would feel this way again, he said. I never thought I would feel this way at all. They held each other as the storm raged outside, but inside everything was warm, safe, right. For the first time in years, neither of them felt alone. Love was blooming in the cold castle, fragile but real, beautiful but frightening. Because they both knew, love could be lost, hearts could be broken. But tonight they had each other. And that was enough. 3 months of happiness passed like a beautiful dream. Elena and Adrian grew closer each day. They talked by the fire, walked in the gardens, shared quiet smiles across the dinner table. Elena had never been so happy. She was loved, respected, valued. The village people adored her. The castle staff smiled when she passed. Children ran to hug her in the streets. She was becoming the woman she was always meant to be. Then, one morning, 3 carriages arrived at the castle gates. Elena looked out her window. Her blood turned cold. Her family, her mother's sharp face, her father's cold stare, her sister Mary's cruel smile. "No," Elena whispered. "Not now. Please, not now." Thomas knocked on her door. "Lady Elena, your family is here. They request an audience." Elena's hands shook as she dressed. She walked downstairs on unsteady legs. Her family waited in the main hall. They looked around with disdain, like the castle was not grand enough. "Elena," her mother's voice cut like ice, "you look different." "Mother," Elena tried to keep her voice steady. "Why are you here?" "To check on our investment," her father said coldly. "Make sure you are fulfilling your duties." Mary smirked. "Though from what we hear, you are playing servant instead of lady, teaching peasants to read, tending sick children like a common nurse." Elena lifted her chin. "I help people. There is honor in that." Her mother laughed harshly. "Honor? You are embarrassing our family name, acting like a peasant yourself." "That is enough." Adrian's voice came from the doorway. He walked in, tall and commanding. "Elena is a credit to your family. You should be proud." Elena's father stood. "Count Adrian, we need to discuss your wife's behavior." "My future wife's behavior is admirable. She brings light wherever she goes." "She brings shame," her mother snapped. "No proper lady acts as she does." "Then perhaps," Adrian said coldly, "the world needs fewer proper ladies." Elena's heart soared. He was defending her, standing up for her. But her family was not finished. "We know the truth," Mary said with a vicious smile. "You only married her because no one else would have her. This is charity, not love." The words hit Elena like physical blows. She saw doubt flicker in Adrian's eyes. "That is not," he started. "Of course it is," her father interrupted. "Our plain, troublesome daughter for your need for an heir, a business arrangement, nothing more." Elena felt her world cracking. Was that all this was? Charity? Pity? "Tell her the truth, Count Adrian," her mother demanded. "Tell her this is not some fairy tale love story." Elena looked at Adrian, waited for him to deny it, to say he loved her truly, completely. But Adrian was quiet, too quiet. The silence stretched like a knife through Elena's heart. Adrian finally spoke. "Elena, you must understand." That was all Elena needed to hear. He could not deny it, because it was true. This was charity, pity, 2 unwanted people settling for each other. "I understand," Elena whispered. Her voice was steady, but her heart was shattering. "I understand perfectly." She turned and ran from the room, up the stairs, to her chambers. She slammed the door, and finally let herself cry. All those months of happiness, all those feelings of love and worth and belonging, all of it, a lie. Outside her door, she heard voices, arguments, her family's cruel laughter, Adrian's voice, trying to explain. But Elena did not listen. She had heard enough truth for one day. She was still the unwanted daughter, still the burden no one chose. And love was still just a dream for other people. Elena cried until she had no tears left. Then she sat by her window, staring at nothing. Her family's words echoed in her mind. Charity, pity, no one else would have her. But slowly, other voices joined them. The cook praising her gentle touch, the maids thanking her for teaching them, village children calling her name with joy. Thomas's words, "You have brought light to this place." And Adrian's voice, "Just last night, I think you are extraordinary." Elena stood slowly, walked to her mirror. The face looking back was still plain, still simple, but the eyes were different now. They were the eyes of a woman who had healed the sick, who had taught the illiterate, who had brought laughter to sad places. They were the eyes of someone who mattered. A knock at her door. "Elena." Adrian's voice, soft with pain. "Please, let me explain." Elena opened the door. Adrian stood there, his face full of anguish. "Elena, what they said, it was not the whole truth." "What part was true?" Elena asked quietly. Adrian flinched. "At first, yes, I agreed to the marriage because you were unwanted. Like me, I thought we could find companionship in our shared pain." The honesty hurt, but Elena respected him for it. "And now?" she asked. "Now I love you, truly, completely. You are not charity, Elena. You are the best thing that ever happened to me." Elena studied his face. She saw truth there, but also fear, doubt. "You still see me as the unwanted girl," she said, "the one who needed rescuing." "No, Yes." Elena's voice grew stronger. "You see someone to pity, to protect, not an equal." Adrian opened his mouth to argue, then closed it, because she was right. "Elena, please." "No." Elena stepped back. "I need to think. I need space." She closed the door gently but firmly. That evening, Elena's family demanded dinner with the Count. Elena joined them, her spine straight, her head high. "Elena," her mother began, "we have decided this marriage is unsuitable. You will return home with us." "No," Elena said calmly. Her family stared. Elena had never said no to them before. "Excuse me," her father's voice was ice. "I said no." Elena's voice was steady, strong. "I will not return with you." "You have no choice," Mary laughed. "You are nothing without us, nothing without him." She gestured at Adrian. Elena stood. Every person in the room looked at her. "You are wrong," she said clearly. "I am Elena. I heal the sick. I teach the illiterate. I bring joy to sad children. I am valued here, respected here, loved here. By servants and peasants," her mother sneered. "By good people with kind hearts, which is more than I can say for you." The room fell silent. Elena's family looked shocked. Adrian stared at her with something like awe. Elena turned to her family. "You threw me away because I did not fit your narrow vision of what a woman should be, but I have found my place, my purpose, my worth." She looked at each of them in turn. "I am not your burden anymore. I am not anyone's burden. I am a woman with value, with skills, with love to give." Her father stood angrily. "You ungrateful." "I am grateful," Elena interrupted. "Grateful you sent me away, because it brought me here, to a place where I can be myself." Elena turned to Adrian. "And you, I love you, but I will not be your charity case. I will not be the woman you settled for. If you want me as an equal, or not at all." Adrian rose slowly. His eyes were bright with admiration, with love, with respect. "Elena," he said, his voice rang through the hall, "you are not my charity. You are my salvation. You are not the woman I settled for. You are the woman I choose, every day, with my whole heart." He walked to her, took her hands. "You are my equal in every way, my partner, my love, my extraordinary wife." Elena's eyes filled with tears, but she was not finished. She turned back to her family one last time. "I forgive you for the years of cruelty, for making me believe I was worthless, but I will never again let anyone make me feel small." Elena stood tall, proud, strong. "I am Elena, and I know my worth." The room erupted. Her family argued and threatened, but Elena did not flinch. She had found her voice, her strength, her truth, and she would never be silent again. Elena's family left the next morning in fury. They threatened to spread rumors, to ruin her reputation, to make her regret her defiance. Elena watched their carriages disappear and felt free. "Are you sad?" Adrian asked, standing beside her. "No," Elena said. "I am relieved." That afternoon, the village held its harvest festival. Elena and Adrian walked through the celebration together. "Lady Elena," children called out, running to hug her. "Will you tell us a story?" "Lady Elena," an old woman approached. "My arthritis is better since you gave me that herb mixture." Lady Elena, a young mother, smiled. "My daughter read her first book yesterday. Thank you for teaching her." Everywhere they went, people greeted Elena with genuine love, with respect, with gratitude. "They adore you," Adrian said softly. "They see me," Elena replied. "The real me, not what I should be, what I am." That evening, the castle held its own celebration. The great hall filled with laughter and music. Servants and lords mingled freely. Everyone was welcome. Elena moved through the crowd, ensuring everyone had food and drink, making sure no one felt left out. "She is remarkable," Thomas said to Adrian. "In 6 months, she has transformed this place." Adrian watched Elena laughing with the children, teaching an old man to dance, wiping tears from a young woman's eyes. "She transformed me too," Adrian said quietly. As the evening wound down, Adrian stood before the crowd. "Friends," he called out. The hall grew quiet. 6 months ago, a remarkable woman came to our castle. Some said she was unwanted, unwelcome. They were wrong. Elena blushed as every eye turned to her. "Lady Elena has brought light to our darkest corners, hope to our hardest days, love to our loneliest hearts." He walked to Elena, took her hand. "She has shown us all what true nobility looks like. It is not in titles or wealth. It is in kindness, in service, in lifting others up." The crowd murmured agreement. "Elena," Adrian said, his voice soft but carrying through the hall, "will you do me the honor of becoming my wife? Not from duty, not from arrangement, but from love, pure, true, freely chosen love." Elena's eyes filled with happy tears. "Yes," she whispered, then louder, "Yes." The hall erupted in cheers. People clapped and laughed and cried. Elena had found her fairy tale, but she had written it herself. 3 days later, they married in the village church, not in a grand cathedral with important guests, but surrounded by the people who truly loved them. The cook made the cake, the maids decorated with flowers, the children sang songs. Elena wore a simple white dress. Adrian wore his finest clothes. Both wore smiles that could light up the world. "Do you, Adrian, take Elena as your wife? To love and honor as your equal?" "I do," Adrian said firmly, "with all my heart." "Do you, Elena, take Adrian as your husband, to love and support as your partner?" "I do," Elena said clearly, "with all my soul." As they kissed, the crowd cheered again. Church bells rang across the countryside. Elena was no longer the unwanted daughter. She was Lady Elena, beloved wife, cherished friend, respected healer, valued teacher. She was exactly who she was meant to be. That night, as they danced in the castle courtyard under the stars, Adrian whispered in her ear, "Thank you for showing me what love really is." Elena smiled up at him. "Thank you for giving me a place to bloom." Around them, their people celebrated, music played, children laughed, hearts were full. The unwanted girl had found her kingdom. The closed-hearted man had found his joy. Together, they had found their home. 5 years passed like pages in a beautiful book. Elena stood in the castle garden, watching her children play. Little Catherine, named for no one from the past, chased butterflies with chubby legs. Baby James slept in Elena's arms, his tiny fist wrapped around her finger. The gardens bloomed with more than flowers now. They bloomed with laughter, with life, with love. "Mama," Catherine ran to Elena, her dark hair flying. "Look, I caught one." She opened her small hands. A butterfly sat on her palm, wings shimmering in the sunlight. "Beautiful, darling. Now let it fly free." Catherine giggled and opened her hands wider. The butterfly danced away on the breeze. "Just like you did, Mama," Catherine said seriously. "Daddy says you learned to fly free too." Elena's heart swelled. "Did he now?" "Yes, he says you were in a cage, but you were too strong for cages." Elena knelt beside her daughter. "What else does Daddy say?" "That strong women make the world better, that I should be strong too." "And what do you think?" Catherine stood tall, lifted her chin. "I think I am already strong, like you." Elena laughed and hugged her tight. "Yes, my love, you are." Footsteps on the garden path. Adrian walked toward them, his face bright with happiness. Baby James reached for his father with a happy gurgle. "How are my 3 favorite people?" Adrian asked, kissing Elena's cheek and lifting Catherine into his arms. "Perfect," Elena said, and meant it. That evening, after the children were asleep, Elena and Adrian walked through their village. The streets were clean and safe. Children played in the squares. Adults gathered to talk and laugh. "The school is finished," Adrian said, pointing to a new stone building. 50 children will start classes next month." "And the new healer's house?" Elena asked. "Ready for your apprentice to move in. Young Sarah is eager to begin." Elena smiled. She had trained 3 women in healing arts now. Each one spread knowledge and care to new places. They stopped at the village well. Someone had carved words in the stone. "Lady Elena's well for all who thirst." "The people did that," Adrian said softly, "while you were recovering from James's birth." Elena traced the letters with her finger. "I never dreamed when I first came here, I never dreamed I could matter this much. You matter to everyone here, to me, to our children. Even on the hardest days, especially on the hardest days." Adrian pulled her close. "You taught me that love is not about perfection. It is about choosing each other, every single day." Elena leaned into his embrace. "I choose you, today and always. And I choose you, my extraordinary wife." Above them, stars filled the dark sky. Around them, their home settled into peaceful sleep. Elena thought back to that frightened girl who had arrived 5 years ago. Plain, unwanted, broken. That girl still lived inside her. But now she was surrounded by strength, by purpose, by unshakable love. "Adrian?" Elena said softly. "Yes?" "Do you think Catherine will face the same struggles, being a strong woman in a world that prefers quiet ones?" Adrian was quiet for a moment. "Perhaps, but she will face them with something you did not have." "What is that?" "Parents who believe in her strength, a home that celebrates her boldness, a village that sees her worth." Elena smiled. "Yes, she will never doubt her value. Never, and neither will you, not anymore." Elena looked around at their thriving village, their happy home, their beautiful children sleeping safely in warm beds. She had been thrown away like a broken thing, but she had not been broken. She had been unfinished. This place, these people, this love, they had helped her become complete. "I love our life," Elena whispered. "So do I," Adrian replied. "Every imperfect, wonderful moment of it." Hand in hand, they walked home, to their castle that was no longer cold, to their children who would grow up knowing they were treasured, to their future that stretched bright and endless before them. Elena had learned to fly free, and in doing so, she had lifted everyone around her. The unwanted daughter had become a beloved mother. The plain girl had become a beautiful woman. The burden had become a blessing. And love had transformed them all. In the castle tower, a light burned in the window, a beacon of hope for anyone who had ever felt unwanted, who had ever felt worthless, who had ever felt alone. It whispered a promise on the night wind. You are enough. You are valuable. You are loved. You just need to find the right place to bloom.